What's up guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're talking about the settings that I use to achieve the most cinematic looking shots as possible with the brand new Mavic 2 drone. First, we're going to hop into the settings within the DJI Go app, and then we're going to go into Adobe Premiere and I'm going to show you briefly my color grading process. So let's hop right into it. Alright, so here we are in the DJI Go app, and the first thing that we're going to change is the video size to 4K HQ with the frame rate at 24 frames per second. Now this is going to get us the most cinematic looking footage as possible out of this drone. It allows for a 1:1 pixel output and doesn't involve any downsampling, which often presents a loss of detail, aliasing, and some other digital artifacts. So the main point here is always shoot in HQ mode if you're looking to retain the best looking footage from this drone. Next, we're going to go into the video format and change this to MP4. This is really dependent on which computer system you run on. If you run on Mac, make sure to click Movie, but if you use PC, click MP4. Next, we're going to go into white balance. I'm going to leave that on Sunny. This is also dependent on the situation that you're in. If it's a cloudy day, click cloudy. If it's a sunny day, click sunny. For style, I leave this at none and don't play around with any of the sharpening or contrast here. I just like to leave that at the default settings. For color, I'm going to change that to DLOG-M. Now this is the most important part here in your settings. DLOG-M will allow you to get the most information out of your footage and allow you to color grade it to its max potential. And then for our encoding format, I'm going to leave that at H.265. Now whenever I'm shooting always in manual mode, and this will allow me the most amount of control out of my camera. I never adjust my ISO above 100. If you do so, you're going to start to get some grain in your image. Then for my aperture, I've often been using it at f11 as I still haven't got my hands on the ND filters by DJI as they've been out of stock. Most of the time you'll have to close this up to f11 when shooting in bright conditions. However, if you're shooting in low light, you'll have to adjust this until your image is properly exposed. For my shutter, I adjust this according to the 180-degree rule. Being if you're shooting at 24 frames per second, you're going to want to set this at 1/50, and this will get the most cinematic looking shot as possible with the correct amount of motion blur. In some cases, I do break this rule, especially if you're not shooting with an ND filter. What I tend to do a lot is adjust my shutter to a higher value until my image is properly exposed. All right, so that's it for this section. Let's head over to the last tab. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do in here is toggle off AFC. What this does is it creates the camera to pop automatically in and out of focus. And when it's doing this, it doesn't look very pretty, especially in video mode. So you're going to want to make sure that you toggle that off. Overexposure is the next toggle that I always have on. This lets you know if anything is overexposed in your image by showing some zebra stripes. If you do see any zebra stripes in your image, make sure to adjust your shutter speed until those disappear, as if you overexpose anything with these drones, you're not gonna be able to bring it back in post. So make sure that everything is exposed correctly when shooting and you don't see any zebras. So once you've gone out there and captured some awesome new drone footage, it's time to bring it into Adobe Premiere and start color grading it. Now to do this, drag and drop your footage into a new timeline and open up the Lumetri color panel. I've talked about this a lot in other videos, but to briefly go through this, I'm just going to go ahead and neutralize this shot until it has the most natural looking colors. I also do have a LUT pack out for drones. If you guys are interested, I'll be leaving a link to that in the description down below. But for now, we're just going to color grade this until we get the most natural colors. To start, we're going to hop right into the curves tab and create a basic S curve. Now what this is going to do is going to bring the contrast and the vibrancy back to the image. Next, we're going to boost up the saturation to around 120. Now, this is pretty much my threshold here. I don't like to go anything above 120 as it starts to make your footage just look a little bit too saturated. And now I'm just going to do my final tweaks by using the basic correction tab here. I'm just going to play around with the highlights and shadows a bit until I get a look that I like. Now for this video, I'm going to leave it right here with these settings. In the future, I am planning on doing a full-fledged color grading tutorial, so stay tuned for that. I hope this video has helped you guys out with color grading as well as dialing in the best settings for your DJI drone. If you enjoyed, hit that like button down below and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.